absolutely unbelievable. It's a tie game! Woo! Finally! Go Leafs, go! It's not baseball, but let's see a rally. Let's go Leafs! Shh.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Maple Leafs Media. It is the day after. I know you're probably expecting to see another YouTuber on here. Scheduling didn't quite work out, so you've got me alone. Let's have a great show. Let's do a series recap, whether it's going to be fun or not. Let's just do it. How's everyone doing in the comments section? Nick from the 6. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Nick? Yeah. Pain. You know what? I'm feeling fine. I know it sucks. It sucks, but it's out of our control. As a fan base, it's out of our control. Let's just, I guess, look forward to next year, right? But series recap. And if you haven't, please make sure you smash the like button and hit the notification bell to be notified every time new content is released on Maple Leafs Media. Just reached 1,000 subscribers last night, so thank you very much for all the support. This season's been great. It didn't end great, but we're still going on Maple Leafs Media. I'll be here throughout the playoffs. You'll see some more videos in the off season, and the Stanley Cup Finals. I'll be doing post-game shows. So I hope to see you here. Congrats on 1K. Thank you very much, Miles Tech. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you, Bud. Appreciate it very much. It's been a long journey to get to 1,000, but hey, we're good. This road is a long road ahead. Maple Leafs Media is only going to keep growing. Let's go. What's up, Joseph Clark in the comments section? ASC says, I mentally prepared myself after they lost Game 5 because when they lost that game, I felt the collapse coming. And you know what? It was in Game 5 that I thought the turning point of this series was. The turning point of this series, it wasn't the Mitch Marner shot over the glass. I think it came right before that. Oh, and we have our guest here in the room here. So let's.
Hey, man, I apologize, dude. I didn't know we were doing this live. I'm sorry, man.
It's all good. All good. Welcome. So we're on the live stream right now. We have Scotian Canadien here, Montreal Canadiens fan. He's a fellow YouTuber. So check out his content if you haven't already. I'll drop the link to his channel here. I'm sure you're having a better day than myself.
Yeah, man, I had a good day here today. I'm not a gloater, so I'm not gonna rub it in. I'm gonna be truthful. I am gutted for a large portion of your fan base, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart because, oh man, it's just like, we've lost series before and it's tough, but I mean, just the way you guys lose, it's like you had the chance to do it. And then it didn't fucking happen. And like, I didn't think we were going to win the series. I didn't. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are again.
Yeah.
See, I've heard that a lot and seen that a lot on social media from a lot of Montreal Canadiens fans that like I feel bad for the Toronto Maple Leafs fan base. And as a fan base, it's not what you want to hear from the rival fan base. But This has to be something mentally with the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing too is that like, as much as Matthews and Marner are upper echelon elite talent, and I love Mitch Marner, he's like honestly one of my favorite players in the NHL, and I don't admit that too often. But yeah, they're so young, man, and like, our team, gets the criticism of the old slow defenseman and whatever, but like think of these, like how old's Matthews and how old's Marner?
24 and 23.
Right. So imagine these kids, and I understand they're professional NHLers and elite talent, but imagine fucking facing up against Shea Weber, a 34-year-old seasoned vet who's known as one of the toughest guys to play against. Same with Edmondson, a cup champ, and then Ben Sherratt. Like that's gotta, it wasn't it's like it wasn't a coincidence that these guys were shying away from hits and rushing plays, and it was just like they got wore down, I think. And
Yep.
I don't think it'll be like that forever. I do think the Leafs are going to break out of this slump very, very soon.
I sure hope so. But big props to the big Montreal Canadiens. They're a physical team. They were gritty, and they're the harder working team in the series. They deserved to win this series. What a comeback from them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I still can't believe it happened. I mean, you might feel otherwise having it happen often, but I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, I was happy to get the first win in the series. I said before it started, we just gotta stretch this out as long as possible and get into the Leafs' heads. And I just kind of think that's how it played out. And I will say though, like up until even once it was 3-0, once it was 3-0 in the game 7, I was like, oh shit. I kind of started to celebrate. But then Nylander made it 3-1, and I was back in my chair again, stressing out. That's how much I respect the talent that's on the Leafs, man, because at any moment they can strike and pot one. And I can't believe that we held Matthews to 1 goal. And credit where it's due to Phil Deneau. I mean, he's finally getting his due. He may not put up the points, but the dude can defend.
Big time. He played a great shutdown role there, and big props to the Montreal Canadiens there. But this is tough. This is tough for me. This is tough for me. It's great to get perspective from a Montreal Canadiens fan as well. I want to look ahead for you. Look ahead for the Maple Leafs a bit later. So for the Montreal Canadiens, next series will be against the Winnipeg Jets. Have you made a prediction for what the series score will be?
So I avoid predictions like the plague. I didn't make a prediction for the Leafs Habs series. I like to think I'm not superstitious, but I definitely am. And I don't bet on my own team. I don't bet against my own team. It's just because I don't want to do that. But, I think it's going to be a good series. One thing I'll say is that, I was very surprised, and you might agree with this, like through the whole season, other than game 1, Habs Leafs, there wasn't really any like animosity. There wasn't like the rivalry didn't really sprout until the playoffs, kind of. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that. It wasn't just like the motion wasn't the same.
Yeah, and like it was kind of the same for the Habs and pretty much every team they played in the Canadian division. It started to get a little stale towards the end, but what I will say is the Jets were the only team, and I think it's probably the same for you guys, actually, maybe Edmonton too, but Habs and Jets, like they actually started to fucking hate each other. Sorry if that's cool for me to curse, but they actually started to hate each other throughout the season. And Jets are a tough team, skilled team, and so I think it's going to be a banger of a series, and it's going to be, they can outskill us, no doubt. But I think again, we're just going to have to rely on our physical play, strong defensive play, and hopefully hang on and score some big goals. And hopefully the top 6 for us can actually produce. They spent so much time having to shut down your guys' top 6 that it was kind of like a wash. They just said, we'll sacrifice our offensive game to shut theirs down, and then it ended up being depth on depth for our teams. And so it just should be interesting.
Yeah, you got to shut down the star players on the Maple Leafs. Matthews and Marner held to 1 goal combined, and after that, there's no Tavares. William Nylander, he played a great series, but after that, the Montreal Canadiens, they outworked the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's why they're victorious in this series.
Yeah. So, who are you going for in the Jets Habs?
Don't care who wins, but I'm gonna predict. I predicted Montreal to win in 6 games.
Okay, right on. Yeah, it should be good, man. I mean, I'm not looking forward to facing Kyle Connor. I tell you that right now, because the guy can finish from everywhere.
Mhm.
And I think I'm going to be one of many Habs fans that are going to be cursing him on pretty much every night. And Mark Scheifele is one of my favorite centers in the league. He's a fantasy keeper for me. I've had him for like 3 or 4 years now. I just love the guy. And then Nikolai Ehlers, former Moosehead, so we know, I'm familiar with him being in Halifax, and the skill and speed he has, and he's having a breakout year too. So there's that aspect. Blake Wheeler, great player and leader and all that, and then the goalie duel is going to be something else, man. That's going to be something else. So everyone was expecting McDavid Matthews in round 2, and we're getting Hellebuyck Price instead. It's like, geez, man.
It's a hard sport to predict the playoffs in, and anything can happen, as we've seen. Connor Hellebuyck, Carey Price, that's a great matchup. I'm saying Winnipeg in 6, but Winnipeg is getting they got Nikolai Ehlers back. That's another really talented player. I think he's an underrated talent. He was a pick after William Nylander. The Maple Leafs were going back and forth on who to take there. Both great players, but Nikolai Ehlers, he can take over a game at times too.
Yeah, man, I don't think you can go wrong with either Nylander or Ehlers. I mean, I was always, back to the Leafs, I was always one of the guys who said, oh, you got to trade Nylander to get some defense for the Leafs. But now I'm like, gee, how do you get rid of Nylander? Like, he's a special player, and he's going to bring even more to the Leafs than what he has so far. I was really impressed with his play against the Habs. But yeah, Nick Ehlers is hard to deal with for sure. It's taken him a bit to kind of come into his own. He's always been that, 50, 60 point guy, but now he's just going off.
And he likes to get under the skin of his opponents. I don't know if you saw this early in the season. He was having a little feud with Jumbo Joe, and
really,
Joe Thornton. I've never seen him get that angry. So
wow,
Nikolai Ehlers, he's going to try to get under your skin there.
Wow, I'll definitely be looking out for that one too. But yeah, it should be an interesting series, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's looking forward to it, and yeah.
Back to the thing you said back a little while back. You're one of the people who are in the trade Nylander crowd. I have always been against that because I just don't think you're going to get the same value for William Nylander. Like, the Maple Leafs value him more than other teams around the league would.
Yeah.
And now looking at it, which of the big 4 would be the most likely to be traded? It's not Tavares, no trade clause. No way Austin Matthews is going anywhere. Nylander, I'm not trading him. Amazing postseason performance this year. I mean, I don't want to, because you're not going to get a favorable return, especially considering his age and his contract. But the one that you're going to hear rumors about is Mitch Marner.
Yeah. I mean, he's taking a lot of flack right now, and I mentioned earlier to you there, he's one of my favorite players in the league, just like his shiftiness offensively, and how he can skate and pass the puck and all that stuff. And I know he didn't want to get hit, and he had some bad giveaways, and what have you. And that is the big name right now. Let's shift him. And he's the hometown kid. I mean, that's got to suck for him, eh? That's his dream come true to play for the Leafs, and now all these rumors are flying. But what I'll say is that, something I was concerned about with the Leafs moving forward was their goaltending situation with Anderson going UFA. But you got a stopgap now in Jack Campbell, and I mean, he's incredible. If he can continue to play this way and actually do it for like 40, 50 games starts in a season, I mean, that really might help you guys not have to trade anybody, because I know it, I don't know exactly how you feel, because it is what it is, but you guys lost JT in the first game of the season, or first game of the series. That sucks, dude. That sucks.
Yeah.
I was, when that happened, man, I was fucking terrified. I literally jumped out of my seat, and I was like, I can't look at this. I hope he's okay. Thought I just watched someone get killed. Like, it was terrifying. Glad he's fine. And I would have preferred the teams be healthy and go at it. And if we lost that way, and we probably would have, if you guys had Muzzin and Tavares healthy, I'm not going to bullshit. You would have won, I think. So don't forget that, right? Like, you guys got a really goddamn good team. And like this season, you learned how to play with a lead, you learned how to defend, and it just so happened it didn't work out. I really think the Leafs can rebound next year, and as long as they stay healthy, playoffs is just as much about luck as it is as good as about having a good team. So I mean, I wouldn't be rushing to trade one of your guys yet. That's just what I think. I mean, I'm terrified of your guys' offense to this day. So, and I'm okay to admit that. I would, as a Habs fan, I probably should be urging you to trade Mitch Marner as soon as possible.
Yeah. See, I don't see the point in trading Mitch Marner. You're not going to get a favorable return, and he's a super talented player. Don't think you trade anyone in the core four. I don't see it happening unless you get a really the only way Mitch Marner is being traded is if you get Jack Eichel in return, and
Right.
I don't really see that happening. I'm confident going into next season, but the thing that scares me is that going back into the Atlantic Division, it's not going to get any easier.
No. That's actually why I'm, really pleased about moving on in this series, because there's a good chance that the Habs might not make the playoffs next year. I think the Leafs are a shoo-in. As long as they're healthy, they're going to make the playoffs next year. And we don't necessarily have that guarantee. So I think the thing that really, is going to be difficult for the Leafs, but, I've been critical of Kyle Dubas, but he was what he did this offseason to solidify your team. I was impressed, and it's going to be hard for him, because Simmons is UFA. Do you bring him back? Thornton as well. I mean, he's up there now. I don't know how you bring him back, but you got to solidify that bottom six again, and with the limited cap, it's going to be difficult. I love your decor. Like Justin Hall has been that has completed your guys' defense. So yeah, I think you guys stay the course, and I think you'll be fine. Honestly, Matthews, Marner, maybe get a little bit of bite. I'm critical of Matthews. I know, the whole laughing it off stuff, and him getting hit here and there, and there's no pushback, and it's not like he doesn't have to take a penalty, but just make a statement. Dude, you're fucking huge.
Mm-hmm.
Throw someone around, punch someone in the even if you do have to take a penalty, you'll kill it, whatever. It is what it is. But show your opponent that you're not going to take their shit. And I think eventually when he, turns that corner, watch out, because I mean, sky's the limit for Matthews.
Yeah, he's a big guy. And I'd like to see him be more physical. He was making some hits early in the series, but by game 4 or 5, the physicality for the Maple Leafs, it really went down, and they just looked like a shell of themselves. They were being out-physicaled, out-hit, outplayed, and yeah, Montreal was just a better team overall.
Yeah, I guess so. It was a good series, though, eh? I think it lived up to the hype. It's fucking off, different perspective, you and I. But I mean, looking back, let's pretend we're just hockey fans. I think it was great for the sport, great for the country. I thought it lived up to the hype, and it was kind of weird for us because you guys get all the hype in Canada for the most part. You got all the expectations on your back. So then when it doesn't happen, it's like the world's crumbling down. Meanwhile, if the Habs had dropped this series, we would have just been happy to force Game 7 and move on to next year and whatever. At least we played good against the strongest team in the Canadian division. So it's just kind of weird how it played out in the end. But I definitely think it was a fantastic series.
It was a fantastic series for sure. As a hockey fan, this is what you wanted to see. You wanted to see it go to 7 games. As a Leafs fan, I would have liked to see it end in Game 5.
Exactly, yeah.
But that's not the case. So everyone watching in the comment section, please make sure you smash the like button and hit the notification bell to be notified every time new content's being released. I'm here with Scotian, Canadien, and I'm going to drop the link to his channel in the comment section. So make sure you check it out. Great content over there. Montreal Canadiens YouTuber, and also subscribe.
Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate you doing this, and I was jumping on with you. Like when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do, and I do it. So if we had lost, I'd have been here too. And I've watched a bunch of your stuff. You're great at what you do, so keep doing it. Yeah, hopefully we see this series next year again, like ASAP. And may the best team win again. The more often we face each other, the better. And hopefully it becomes a rivalry over the next 3 to 5 to 10 years where we can say, oh, we got a such and such record against the Habs in the playoffs, not just a one-off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to wait 40 years again. You don't want
No.
not the time from 1979 to 2021. Let's see it again next year.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Oh, for sure.
Really spark the rivalry, get it going. So obviously in this series, game 1, Montreal takes it, and then it was three consecutive Maple Leafs wins. After that, it was all Montreal. What was the turning point of this series in your opinion?
So it was like a mentality change for the Habs. And what I think when I go back to is Carey Price's quote from, I think it was after game 3 when we went down 2-1, when he was questioned about the inability of his teammates to score goals. And I mean, what's he supposed to say, right? But what he did say was, I have confidence in these guys. I see their shots in practice. I know they can finish. So I think that endorsement from Price, who was just, otherworldly. I mean, he gets criticized for his contract and how he slumps in the regular season, but when it comes playoff time, we can always count on him to be at his best. He's a family man now, and I think that's it. I think the regular season is a different mentality for him, and when it's playoff time, he's all in. He's the goaltender of the Montreal Canadiens. So I definitely think that was the turning point, and apparently there was some sort of meeting, and Stahl and Perry and Weber, I think, stepped up and expressed that these opportunities don't come very often, and it was just a mentality change. They really tightened up their defense and just simplified, chip it out, make the Leafs work for everything they got, and they just stuck to it ever since that game 5, and they got lucky in that overtime. I think it was game 5, the overtime. Matthews had a shot, and Price managed to get the pad there. Series could have been over right there on a Matthews goal. So it's luck too.
For me, the turning point of the series, it was in game 5 in Montreal. It was when the Montreal Canadiens had the first goal of the game, and then it was challenged.
Right.
That challenge is the turning point of the series for me. It sends Montreal to the power play, and then your best penalty killer, well, one of your best penalty killers, Mitch Marner, shoots the puck over the glass. 5-on-3, Montreal scores 2-0. The Maple Leafs end up coming back. I believe it was 3-3 that game, and losing in overtime. They shot themselves in the foot with that challenge, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. I was surprised they challenged it, just like Bergevin's challenge. I mean, I think Bergevin's challenge was worse. That was just, I don't even know what that was. But I remember screaming at my TV, man. I was like, Keith, I dare you to challenge this, because it's not coming back, and you're going to be on the penalty kill. And that's what happened. And I ragged on Bergevin and Ducharme for their challenge as well. I said, dude, like, why are you taking this risk? Like, with giving up a power play like that after you just get scored on, like, that's such a momentum shift. So yeah, I agree with you. That's a great point that you bring that up.
Yeah, like that, it can just take the life out of the team. Like, after a goal, you're a bit stunned. It's a 0-0 game. It makes it 1-0. You're a bit stunned later in the game, and then that really just, it adds salt into the wound. And then Mitch Marner, I'm gonna show the clip of what Mitch Marner did. We all know, but I don't understand this.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's a rough one, and that was kind of a weird storyline, or a weird, reoccurring incident that kept happening for the Leafs. It happened early. I think it was game 1. They kept doing it, and then that play there. Yeah, and I think someone posted on Twitter, like, Mitch Marner's taken, I think, 5 or 6 penalties over the years in this series. Did you see that? And they're all like puck over the glass.
Yeah, so there's
Holy
five 5 delay of game over the glass penalties, and he has 5 playoff goals.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's rough.
That is tough.
And especially after what he did this regular season. Was it 19 or 20 goals, 5-on-5?
Yeah,
A
20.
few of them were against us too. Like, unbelievable. I feel bad for the kid. I do. He was gutted in his post game, and I love that he put it on himself too. I love that humility from Marner in his post game.
The one thing I didn't like is that he said we didn't come ready to play. That's tough. You can't say that.
Yeah,
you can't say that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you. Okay, this is how we'll do it. So I'll ask you Toronto Maple Leafs player of the series, and then I'll give my Montreal Canadiens player of the series. You give your Montreal, I'll give my Toronto. So you start with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Who's your player of the series?
I think I gotta go with. It's hard because I want to pick Nylander, but at the same time, Jack Campbell was a stud. It was really difficult for the Habs to score on him, and the ones they did get, just barely squeaked by. It's tough that he let in that one against Gallagher, the first goal last night. Call it a bad goal, I guess, but Bogosian's defense wasn't great on it either, so I can kind of put some blame on Bogosian there. I think I'll lean towards Jack Campbell. He was incredible.
Okay, I like that Jack Campbell pick, but I'm gonna go with William Nylander. He had 8 points in this series. He really stepped up in the absence of John Tavares, and when our top 2 players weren't playing the way they should be, William Nylander stepped up. Wasn't able to lead this team to a series victory, but his contributions were great.
Yeah.
For the Montreal Canadiens, who is your player of the series?
I think this is pretty obvious. So especially with how I mentioned the turning point, Carey Price's quote, it's got to be Carey. He was just a rock, and I think something I noticed with him very often, and we can talk about his saves and how he makes it look easy. He's always in the right place and all that stuff. Everyone says that. But when you watch him make a save and there's a rebound sitting in front of him, he doesn't rush to cover it. He's slow and calm and cool and collected. And I think that mentality just, that approach just kind of brings the team down a bit. So I definitely think, it was Carey Price.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Carey Price. And I like that. He's a calming presence. He's a leader in that locker room for sure. It's got to be Carey Price. No doubt about it. I'm actually a Carey Price fan. Definitely not a Montreal fan. But Carey Price, big fan of him.
Yeah, man, he's a good human. He's got a really strong head on his shoulders, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I mean, he's a family man. He's got 3 kids, and people are up in the air during the regular season for us when he goes through struggles, and he's been struggling really bad at home. There's got to be something to it, and I've said it to a few people now. Family man, I think he puts a lot of his focus on his family and his kids when he's at home, and I don't blame him. And I think as a leader, that's good as well, because you can kind of put the responsibility on your team. And I think that's right. They should be there to back him up, through the battle of the regular season. But then when it comes playoff time, he, says to the wife, I have something to take care of here, and he just takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's a great point. Carey Price, family man for sure, and he's all business when it comes to the playoffs. It's a different animal. Chuck Fleet brings up an interesting name in the comments section. Cole Caulfield, best player for Montreal in the series, in his opinion. Caulfield is a dangerous player.
Yeah, he is. I definitely probably wouldn't, I don't think I'd say he was the best. I mean, but I don't want to diminish his presence and what he brought once he got in the lineup. And, he had the winning assist in game 5 or whatever it was. And, he'll get credit for that, and the ringing one off the post and the chances he got and how he works the power play, all that. But he was really impressive defensively, and that OT goal doesn't get scored unless he doesn't anticipate what Galchenyuk was going to do.
Yep.
and then he left the ice. He had an active stick. He was breaking up plays. And he really bought into just being a responsible NHL player. So he definitely was a huge key factor for us, and as much as we say Carey Price is the best player, I mean, he had a lot of support from his defensemen, cutting off the passes and leaving the shot to him, and the two-way play from all the forwards. They chipped in. It was a team win. I mean, they do have Carey Price back there to bail them out when there's a mistake, but I don't think he does as well without some of the two-way forwards and the decor that he has in front of him.
Yeah, the defensive support that he has in front of him, it's really solid. And I think Cole Caulfield, he's a really great talent. He's got a really bright future in this league. How old is he?
20.
20. Yeah, he's going to be dangerous for a really long time.
Yeah, and I mean, I had my reservations of him, like everyone else did, about the size and all that, because it's not just like he's a small guy. Like, he is tiny. He is tiny. So, and I've kind of learned over the years, try not to get too excited over prospects because they can come in the NHL and all of a sudden they're nothing, right? So I've really tried to not overhype guys. So I was waiting to see what Caulfield can do, and he still has a lot to prove. Don't get me wrong, but to see him how he just looks comfortable, and at that young of an age, it's impressive.
Daniel Rojas here says he brought energy to the Habs team. I can see that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I think Keith mentioned that in the post game as well.
Yeah, he's so speedy. He's
Yeah.
all over the place. Extreme Gamer 29. Where do the Leafs go from here? Who gets traded and who stays? We're already getting into the trade talks, hey Leafs Nation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say that I don't think any of the core four pieces will get traded. Who else gets traded after that? Honestly, anybody can. I don't think Jack Campbell's going to go anywhere, obviously. Where do the Leafs go from here? They're looking forward to next season. It's just the same thing all over again. Hopefully not the same ending, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it'll be tough to get out. I mean, the Atlantic Division's tough. The Metropolitan Division's tough. And I mean, with Ottawa doing what they're doing, I mean, the Habs are, turning a corner now. We know what Tampa is. Me and you, both Habs and Leafs fans, we need to hope that Boston finally starts to decline because, I don't know, there's only so many playoff spots. So, and Marchand's getting up there, Bergeron's getting up there. So hopefully they take some steps back. But I mean, they just continue to be really good. So it'll be interesting. Now, I'd love to hear your take on Hyman because he's a UFA now. Leafs have limited cap space. Are they going to trade his rights to someone at least to get something for him, or are they going to try to get him back as best as they can?
I think they need to try to get Zach Hyman back. He is a workhorse on this team. He had 13 goals and 18 assists in the regular season. He was a workhorse for this team. He's not afraid to get in the dirty areas. You need to re-sign Zach Hyman if you're Kyle Dubas. He is a pillar on that first line beside Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. He gets in the dirty areas for them. He gets in front of the net. Zach Hyman is I think he loves being a Toronto Maple Leaf too. He's from the Toronto area, so I'd be doing everything I could to re-sign Zach Hyman for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, thank God for Jack Campbell because you lose Anderson's cap hit. Campbell's at what, like 1.5 or 1.6 or something like that.
It's cheap, yeah.
So I mean, that makes it possible to give Hyman a raise and have him stick around. I mean, I loved his play last night where Leafs having trouble scoring and he pulled a Gallagher and he just took the puck and he skated straight into the crease. That's what you got to do in the playoffs.
Yeah, Zach Hyman. I wish, I'm not sure if he was at full health for this series, to be honest, because he had that knee injury with Alex Edler hit, the knee on knee hit, dirty hit. But I'm not sure he was at full health for this series. We need to re-sign Zach Hyman for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I'd be happy to see him leave the Leafs, but yeah, I think they're going to do everything in their power to have him stick around. I love guys like that play with the grit.
Yeah. I'd be open to bringing Wayne Simmons back as well. I know he didn't contribute very much to this team in the playoffs, but you saw it game 1 of the season. He gave this team a spark. He gave this team new life in that when they were down with the fight against Ben Sherratt.
Oh, did he ever? I mean, I thought the way game one of the season went, was going to be how it played through the rest of it. But I mean, Simmons clocked Sherratt, and then that just took all the energy out of this, all the wind out of the sails of the Montreal Canadiens' toughness. And then it kind of started to be that way in the playoffs too. Keefe started chucking them out there on the opening faceoffs to start games to send a message, and it worked. But then, I mean, Simmons got wore down too. He got hit quite a few times, and maybe he ended up getting injured and banged up, and he just couldn't do it anymore. But I mean, I would no doubt, if I were a Leafs fan, want to see him back as well.
Okay.
That was a good ad. That was a really good ad.
Yeah, he had a wrist injury earlier in the season against Vancouver. He broke his wrist, so maybe that's why he didn't drop the gloves at any point in the series. But I think definitely bring him back. He's a former Marc Messier Leadership Award winner. He's a leader, veteran presence. He can be a net front presence as well. He can do a lot of things for this team.
Yeah.
Yannick says Spezza was great. He had 3 goals in the series. He stepped up big time. Jason Spezza, the veteran. He's also a free agent. I think the Maple Leafs try to re-sign him as well.
I mean, if he'll take the same contract again, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, he really rejuvenated his career this season, and he can continue to be a really strong bottom 6 guy and leader.
Yeah, and I think he would take the same contract to stay with Toronto, because I don't know if you remember this. Early in the season, he was placed on waivers, and he told his agent to notify everyone in the league, I'm not playing for anyone except for the Maple Leafs. So
yeah,
I think he wants to be here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure it's been a much better day for you than it has for me today, and everyone in Leafs Nation.
Yeah, bud. It was a good day. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, head up, dude. Like I said it earlier, you guys have a fantastic team. For me, I think just patience. I think if you could come back next season with essentially almost the same roster, some tweaks here and there, and some fire. And I think it's up to the Leafs to change their fortune, and eventually they're going to do it. I mean, there's so many superstars you look back on when they were in their early 20s that they couldn't quite get over the hump, but then they finally do. And I have no doubt that they're going to eventually do it, and it very well could be against the Habs. So we'll see.
The team that I've been hoping that I can make the comparison to in a few years is the Washington Capitals. They were just constantly limited early in the playoffs, and then they finally had that Stanley Cup run. Hopefully that works for the Maple Leafs. I'm honestly, though, my assessment right now of the core here in Toronto is I don't know if it's a playoff core. At this point in time, they've proven not to be, but they can prove me otherwise for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And, you get JT healthy and Muzzin back in there. I was critical of Dubas for a while, but it took him, some picks to really build this team up, but they weren't wasted trades. He won some trades, and it was for pieces that were going to stick around long term. So, head up, man, because just think of how good the celebration will be once you guys finally break the hump. And once you do, hopefully then it's a long run after that.
Yeah, it would be a great celebration. I was hoping to have it last night, but that's not the case. How about your GM? How did you feel his offseason and heading into this year was? Marc Bergevin.
Oh my God, man. Like I'm a huge Bergevin supporter. The moment he traded Weber for Subban, I was shocked, but about 20 minutes later, I was like, holy shit, Shea Weber is our Montreal Canadien. And very soon he's likely going to be their captain. And sure enough, he was. And, the contract is what it is. But he is showing that he has some longevity. He's a better player than Subban right now. And now into this offseason in general, I just like the guys that he targeted. Stanley Cup champions, Toffoli, Joel Edmondson. I mean, Joel Edmondson has been a unsung hero on our D-core. The guy doesn't make mistakes. So that was huge. And then Josh Anderson, I mean, transitioning Galchenyuk to Domi was a win. And then we take Domi and get Anderson out of that. I mean, players like Josh Anderson are so rare. Guys that can skate like that, hit like that, score like that. So I absolutely loved Marc Bergevin's offseason. And, it was getting frustrating towards the end of the season, but it was a grind for the Habs. And I said, as long as we don't collapse, as long as we don't collapse and miss the playoffs, he'll be back. And same with Ducharme. So I think that's the case. And now it's definitely the case that they've won the series. So I think he's got 1 year left on his term as a GM. I would not be so surprised to see him get extended for another, 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, I thought he had a great offseason. And the trade deadline, I really like the addition of Eric Stahl as well. I think, would you give up a second, third round pick for him?
I think it was a third, yeah.
Yeah, didn't have to give up much to get him. And he's a great addition for the playoffs. He's won a Stanley Cup with Carolina back in 2006. Corey Perry, another Stanley Cup winner. You guys added a lot of Stanley Cup champions to your team, and that can pay dividends in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. It's still surreal to me that Corey Perry's on our team. I've been a huge fan of his forever. I love the Ducks, so to see him out there, and then for him to get 3 points in the last few games there and get the game winner last night, that was pretty cool. He's
an opportunistic player. He's a gritty player, and he gets in the dirty areas. Corey Perry, he's a special type of player to have on your team.
Yeah, for sure. He's got quite the glare on him.
So everyone in the comments section, if you haven't already, please make sure you smash the like button and hit the notification bell. You'll be notified every time new content's released. And again, I will be dropping the link to Scotian Canadiens YouTube channel in the comment section. Make sure you go show some support, comment, like, subscribe on his content over there. Great stuff.
Cheers, buddy. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you coming on here for the past 40 minutes or so. It's been fun. I mean,
yeah. Thanks for having me. You seem like a really chill dude, and like I said, man, I like your content. You're a great communicator, so keep doing what you're doing, and it'll keep growing, man. This stuff doesn't decline as long as you keep going and stay consistent. It just climbs.
Yeah. When did you start releasing content?
3 years ago. 3 years ago. Yeah, I mentioned the Weber Subban stuff. I was just tired of tuning into Sportsnet or TSN, and everything Bergevin did was, he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. And they got to rebuild. They got to trade Carey. And I was just, I thought there's so many Habs fans out there that want a different perspective. So I started it, and I made the goal to do it for 1 year. Did it for 1 year, and then I just kept doing it after that. So it's been fun. I've met a lot of good people like yourself, and it's cool to make these connections. So thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, it's really fun, and that's exactly what this channel is too. It's just fans talking hockey with other hockey fans. It's just a great place to come and have a chat with other hockey fans.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Do you have like a end goal for your channel, or you just want to keep pumping out the content?
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay consistent. I mean, obviously, I think all of us have that dream of eventually blowing up, and it is what that's what we're trying to do. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself, and I just want to have fun and see the channel grow and meet more people, and try to just be humble and share my thoughts and take it from there. I'm just a regular hockey fan like yourself, and it's fun.
Yeah. It certainly is. Everyone in the comments section, thank you very much. Thank you for coming on. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Have a good evening.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.